What's up, you all on YouTube? What's up, everybody on IG? Um, Welcome back. I just want to jump right into it. Um, we're talking about the spiritual man, the natural man, and the carnal man. Um, and again, in the times we're in right now, you're gonna have to have a different level of understanding and discernment to deal with what's going on in these times, because now you have to know that things are coming from a spiritual place versus a carnal place. What you're witnessing now is the powers that be really kind of moving out in the open. They're not hiding anymore. And I said this since 2020. 2020 was supposed to be everybody's awakening year. That was God's grace and mercy, allowing us to actually see the truth. Many people saw the truth and ran back and crawled into a hole. So the people you see now acting dumb and playing stupid, they know what's going on. It's just they're afraid and they're hoping that you take the bait and you go and die with them. What's up, Venus? What's up, Jamar? What's up, Soin for Night? What's up, Mika? What's up, Slim Bella? What's up, Prudence? What's up, Goddess Navi? What's up, everybody on Instagram? I see Jambalaya on here. I see Flame on here. But anyway, so now we're in a stage of the game where the truth has been revealed. So with the truth being revealed, that takes away some of the grace, because the grace is there to fill in the gaps and things that we don't understand or we don't know, or just immaturity. But now you know. So now now we graduated from the kindergarten level. Now we in first grade. So now you know how to say your ABCs, you know how to count. So now you know. So now the grace is going to be different. That's why you see people getting exposed so quick. It used to take years for folks to get exposed. It used to take a whole lifetime for folks to get exposed. Now folks are getting exposed in weeks, months. People getting exposed immediately. I want to ask you all a question, though. What's up, Britt? I want to ask you all a question. How many Black people have Black people canceled concerning the snake bites? Think about the last 3 years. Think about all the wicked and crazy things that prominent Black leaders and people in the Black community said. How many of them got canceled for the propaganda and programming behind that snake bite? How many Black folks have been canceled by Black people for telling people to line up and get that snake bite? How many? If you take a step back, you can already see the end unfolding. Black people have not canceled anyone that told them to get the snake bite. Black people have not canceled anyone that said you shouldn't have a job if you don't get it. You should be locked up if you don't get it. You shouldn't have any rights if you don't get it. Like, a lot of Black prominent people were talking like that, and Black folks haven't canceled any of them. So my question is, when the Antichrist comes, what's going to make Black folks reject him? What's going to make Black people reject the Antichrist if they haven't rejected normal people who told them that if they didn't get the snake bite, they deserved to be either locked up, kicked out of society, or in some cases, put in front of a firing squad? This is how you know the end times are here, because look how reprobate the Black mind is. And I harp on Black folks. I don't care who doesn't like it, but I harp on Black folks because Black people influence everything. Whatever agenda they have to attach a Black face to it. When it came to the snake bite, Kismekia Corbett, they had a Black woman attached to it. When it comes to the trans movement, Black women attached to it. When it comes to politics, Black women attached to it. You can sprinkle Black men throughout what I'm talking about, these agendas. When it comes to the destructive nature of violence in the community, Black men. Being whoremongers, Black men. The destructive music, Black men. death culture, black men. So again, what they want the world to be, you are going to first see in the black community. That's why I say most black folks are atheists. But anyway, let me get started on these videos. Now, I'm gonna play this one first, and then we're gonna go into some other ones.
Black folks have an epidemic in its culture and community in the United States that we need to understand, and that is the inferiority complex to white people and whiteness and self-hate in the black community. Some of y'all niggas don't like Kamala Harris just simply because she's great. Some of y'all niggas talk about you don't like her and don't support her, but you ain't done nothing to research her agenda or what she's doing. The white folks, when they saw her dancing at this party, it was only a 3.5-hour party, by the way, celebrating the global impact of hip hop during its 50th anniversary. The white folks say, why was the border czar partying with the rappers?
Okay, how is Instagram now? I just went to my Wi-Fi. How is Instagram now? Is it unfreezing? Let me know if Instagram is good now. If not, I have to give my my speech to make it work. Thank you, Black Ink Pride, for the badge. Thank you so much. Is it better? Okay. Let me know I can give my spiel. All right. Let me rewind this guy talking. And this guy, I guess, is Jason Lee of Hollywood Unlocked. And keep in mind, well, he probably is biracial. I wouldn't doubt it.
Folks have an epidemic in its culture and community in the United States that we need to understand, and that is the inferiority complex to white people and whiteness and self-hate in the black community. Some of y'all niggas don't like Kamala Harris just simply because she's great. Some of y'all niggas talk about you don't like her and don't support her, but you ain't done nothing to research her agenda or what she's doing. The white folks, when they saw her dancing at this party, it was only a 3.5-hour party, by the way, celebrating the global impact of hip hop during its 50th anniversary. The white folks say, why was the border czar partying with the rappers? And then black folks would have been saying, if she didn't do it, why she ain't acknowledging black music and the impact it's had on culture? How is Kamala Harris the second most powerful person in the world, yet nothing she does is good enough?
Imagine Kamala Harris. Now think about this. Think about this. Imagine Kamala Harris. If Joe Biden is the leader of the free world, then Kamala Harris is second in command. So if anything happens to Joe right now, Kamala Harris is president. This is how Satan works. If Kamala Harris becomes president, what can you say about her? She's a woman. She's playing black, but she's really Indian. She's liberal. She's for the LGBTQs. She's for climate change. Like, what can you say about her? She'll be untouchable. This is how Satan works. Because Satan uses the virtues of the world. The virtues of the world are what protect these people. Not godly virtues, worldly virtues. Kamala Harris is a complete buffoon. Many of the people that you see in front of you, they're not intelligent. They're just placed there. Many of the folks you see are like this guy talking right now, Jason Lee. He's an idiot. He's an absolute idiot, but he'll make you believe that he's intelligent because he's been able to monetize on black ignorance and decadence. Black folks don't hate themselves. The problem with black people is black people love themselves more than they love God. That's the problem. And to the carnal man, it looks like self-hate, but it's not. Black people love themselves to a fault. Black people love blackness. They love skin, but they hate God. That's the problem. So black folks will never fully accept anybody that is black if they are going to be any type of decent. If a black person is decent with morals and standards, they will be rejected by black people. But Kamala Harris isn't actually black, and black folks know it. Black folks know she's not black. Now we got somebody on here that's biracial, just as confused. He appears to be on some kind of drug. He looks like he's on drugs. Look, he does coke. It's like a cokehead to me. I don't know this guy Jason Lee, but I know I think it's Hollywood Unlocked, whatever he does, but he keeps a mess going. But again, the spirit that rules over him is the Baphomet spirit, is the LGBTQ spirit that rules over him. But guess what? He's a man with a platform. He has a larger voice than 99% of the black men in America. Think about that. Jason Lee has a voice that's louder than 99% of black men in America. What does that tell you? Anybody with common sense could see if this guy can speak louder than most black men, then the black community is doomed. The black community is doomed. Somebody said, what is this jacket? His jacket says Palm Angels. I don't know if that's a cross between Palm Springs and Los Angeles. I don't know. I don't know if it's talking about a hand job. It's super sus. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna just, hopefully it means Palm Springs in Los Angeles. Hopefully. Let's continue.
Nothing she does is good enough. Everything she does is bad to white folks. And sometimes what she does ain't good enough for blacks. I'm confused. Black people, you need to go look in the mirror and ask you, why do you hate us so much? Why do you hate each other so much? I've never hated on anybody. I may give an opinion. I may be critical of a person's performance or something. I can say I don't like a person, but I respect their work, or I respect their work, but don't like them. I know how to differentiate it. But at least I do my research and pay attention. What are you doing? How is it that the vice president dancing to vibrant, how did that not make you say, damn, she's human? So let me go ahead and look into what she's doing so I can support her a little more.
And this is what's funny, right? The funny thing is, I put on a post on Right Wing Angels page. I said, when black people talk about research, black people in research is like a fish. Black people are to research what a fish is to the desert. It doesn't, it's no such thing. When black people talk about their researching, they're going to go listen to another misinformed black person. And the black people don't research at all because black folks reject the truth. Most black people go look at stuff that's already been regurgitated. You don't see black folks discovering new things. They don't. It's been 100 years since black folks been inventing stuff. Black folks ain't discovering nothing new no more. They had the black lady that said she was going to use nanotechnology to fight cancer. So you got a black woman saying she going to put nanobots in your body and it's going to work out good for you. The same nanobots that's in your body already from the snake bite. So again, what these people are doing, again, is setting the stage for you to be a literal slave in this new system. Because they want you to follow people that mean you harm. Listening to Kamala Harris will never work out for you. It just won't. I'm sorry. Listening to Kamala Harris will never work out for you. Kamala Harris was the same person that accused Joe Biden of sexual assault. She's the same person that accused him of being racist. She's the same person known for locking up black men and parents, might I add. Because what Kamala did in California was she added these truancy laws where if the child was truant from school 3 days or plus, then the parents could be put in jail. I'm gonna say it again. Kamala Harris, knowing which students are truant, the black students are the most truant, she said, let's do a law where if the child is absent more than 3 days, the parents can be subject to go to jail. This is Kamala Harris. But when I say it, all the heathens can say is that he hates black women, he's down on his people, he's bashing. You can't listen to black folks, people. We're in the last days. We're in the Antichrist preparation days. If you listen to somebody black, it's over. I'm not black. Let me say that right now. I'm not black. If you listen to a black person, they are going to lead you to the path of destruction. I hate to say it. It sounds bad, but it is what it is. All these black folks running their mouth on these platforms, what are they actually saying? Nothing. They celebrating Deion Sanders, and Deion Sanders just told y'all last year to put that poison in your body. Now they celebrating him. The reason why people are doomed to repeat history is because history is not a teacher for most people. Most people are out of sight, out of mind, because they don't want the responsibility of knowing. History is supposed to be a teacher. So these last 3 years have not served any purpose for black people. Black folks have forgotten the last 3 years. But ironically, that's the people they're going to use to usher in this agenda. Let's continue.
Because those of you saying you don't like Kamala, those of you saying that you don't like Kamala and are going to vote for Trump mean that you don't care about gay rights, you don't care about trans rights, you don't care that they believe that Muslims, or at least Trump believed that Muslims were terrorists, you don't care that women shouldn't have the right to abortion, you don't care about voter rights, you don't care about none of that because your little $300 stimulus that Trump gave you was more important than supporting a black woman to be successful. I'm riding for Kamala.
Now, he said a whole bunch of lies. But look why he said you should vote for Kamala. Listen to what he said. He said to see a black woman successful. This is why this whole thing is idol worship. Because when people erect idols, they see themselves in the idol. When people erect an idol, that's why the buildings you see in these much metropolitan cities are all glass. So you can see those. This is all dating back to the past in biblical days. This is why the idol usually was shiny. So when you walk up to the idol, you can see your reflection in the idol. Because idol worship, at the end of the day, is self-worship. You heard what he just said. He said, vote to see a black woman successful. Not anything about what you may want in your local district or your city or none of that. Just to see a black woman successful. Just to see yourself in the idol. Because idol worship is self-worship. That's what it is. Satan wasn't enticing Eve to be like God. Satan was enticing Eve to worship herself. To worship, because if she's a God, she doesn't have to worship God. She can worship herself. Let's continue.
I'm asking all my supporters to do it, and I challenge anybody that don't like her to tell me why.
Well, I'll tell you why, Mr. Jason going down the Hershey Highway, Lee. First of all, Kamala Harris was only placed there because she could trick black people. And when I say trick black people, meaning she could have the black support. Because if black people support her, then she's going to get support from white liberals, LGBTQs, immigrants. It goes down the list. Now, Kamala Harris actually doesn't have any kind of skill sets or nothing. She's never done anything but lock up black men and some black parents. Kamala Harris has done absolutely nothing. She is incoherent when she speaks. She's done nothing. She's never said anything. Have you ever heard Kamala Harris say anything and you was like, wow, that was so profound? Have you ever heard Kamala Harris say something and you were impressed? No. She's just an Indian woman putting on blackface for you Negroes, thoughts, and heathens. And her job is, again, like the rest of you heathens, is to usher in this great reset, this new world order, this liberal world order. So Kamala Harris is a walking and talking buffoon. She is a puppet, a caricature, you might call her. She's useless. She only has appeal for all of the dum-dums out there. If people had any kind of sense, Kamala Harris would never have made it this far. She should have been in India somewhere. You know, and also she's a part of the highest class, the Brahmin Indians over in India, that she never speaks about. She never speaks about her family in a system where they're at the top, oppressing everybody beneath them. She'll never mention that. And on her dad's side, they own slaves, but we never talk about that. So Kamala Harris, not only she's a walking, talking buffoon, but on one side of her family, they own slaves. On the other side, they're still oppressing the people. So you can vote for it, Jason, but I'd imagine you probably vote for anything. But let's continue. Let's continue.
So the reason why I call the black male liberal a pussy is because you are the only racial or ethnic group in this world that can identify every aspect, facet, and identifying markers of white supremacy and racism throughout any subject or any situation. Even though you have never, ever in your life personally experienced racism or personally experienced white supremacy. But the things that you see on a regular basis, you willfully ignore. This gender ideology that they have pushing on our children, I don't hear y'all calling that out.
Now, this is Joe Collins, and he was in California running against Maxine Waters, but I think now he's in Texas. But he's talking about the liberal black man, the democratic black man. And this is the problem, is that all growing up, as a child, you don't see how weak and pathetic the black men have been. You can't see it because there's so much Hollywood narrative surrounding the black man's strength. But what they portrayed as the black man's strength was actually his weakness. Just look at who society, Hollywood, the media elevated from the black community. They elevated athletes, they elevated musicians, they elevated movie stars, they elevated people in the entertainment world. And then the folks that weren't entertainment, they got elevated pushing a communist agenda. So if you think about it, what good examples of black men have we actually seen on a mass scale? Now, obviously, I've had people like my grandfather, uncle, people in my family, obviously your family, but on a mass scale, what good images of black men have we actually seen? There haven't even been very many, because the image of the black man is actually weak. And it's weak because look at what the black man has to accept to appease blackness. The black man has to accept the destruction of his family. He has to accept emasculation. He has to accept the LGBTQ agenda. Like look what he has to accept, the woman being in charge. He has to accept playing step in the fetch to the, like, look what the black man has to accept once he says, I'm riding with blackness. He has to literally leave his position as a man. That's why the black community will never get will never be corrected, because it's supposed to go God, man, woman, child. And now it's going God, well, scratch that. It's woman, it's child, it's the world, scratch that. It's woman, it's the world, it's the child, a list of other stuff, then it's God, then a list of other stuff, then it's the man. So the black man is way out of position, but he's out of position because his values align with Satan. The black man's values align with Satan. The black man don't have his own principles to stand on. You talk to the average black man, he gonna give you a speech about being black. He doesn't have any self-initiated principles or philosophies on life. He don't. Most black men are broken records. They all talk the same, and when they don't, think about it. When a black man does not stick to the script, he's immediately called a sellout. He's immediately called a coon. Immediately. So the black man's already expected to be what you call a stepping and fetching. Let's continue. That's right, Britt, a matriarchy. That's what the black community is.
Gender affirming care, transitioning little boys to little girls, transitioning little girls to little boys. You got Michelle Obama talking to Zaya Wade, who was transitioned by Gabrielle Union, a black liberal female. Y'all don't call that out. Her dad, punk ass Dwayne Wade, allowed that to happen. They're teaching porn in our schools. Elementary schools are having porn books. Sex education. Y'all don't call that out.
I got a book. Let me get my book. Let me get this book real quick. Let me get this book. I got a book. Hold on, let me get my book real quick. I got a book, you all, that I picked up. And it's one of these approved liberal books in your schools. Now, I got enough sense to know that black people aren't going to put up a fuss when it comes to these kind of books in the school. They're not. Because black folks don't view pedophilia as a bad thing. They don't. But it's a book called It's Perfectly Normal. I did a video on it once, but I actually saw it at Goodwill one day, and it was brand new. And the irony of the book is this is the 20th year edition of the book, which means this book was, let me see. I'm trying to see when it was printed. 20th year anniversary of the book. Okay, 2014. So if we go back, that means 1994, this book has been around. It's perfectly normal. And it says over 1 million copies in print, and it says for age 10 and up. And in this book, it's perfectly normal. It has illustrations of, you know, the anatomy of a man and a woman. It shows sexual positions of men on men, women on women, and heterosexual. It talks about all of these things. It says who you are: straight, lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer plus. Now, this is from 1994. This is from 1994. So this stuff has been going on. Now, how did this stuff sneak by on our watch? I'll tell you how. Because they have black folks focused on being black. They have black folks focused on being black, not being righteous. Anybody coming to you with that biggity black talk is coming to do the will of Satan. Is coming to do the will of Satan. Anybody coming with that bliggity black talk is coming to do the will of Satan. Because a righteous man or woman would come to you and tell you that you are wonderfully and fearfully made because God said it. You are more than a conqueror because God said it. They will tell you that your faith can move a mountain. They will tell you that God loves you. The Bible says that the devil is the accuser of his brethren. So if anybody's coming to you blaming somebody else, that's already Satan. They should be coming to you with the good news, tell you how good God is, tell you about Christ. If they're coming with another message, they're coming to kill, steal, and destroy. But let's continue.
Drag queen story time and drag queen strip clubs, indoctrinating our kids into this sex cult, over sexualization of our children. Y'all don't call that out. And that shit is being pushed by y'all party. That's being pushed by the Democrats. Every single black man who is a Democrat has to accept the LGBTQIA++ platform and ideology.
Joe just said something, and like I said earlier, if a black man is a Democrat, think about this now. Hey, listen, if you don't agree with any party, I get it. You do what you do. If you say politics ain't my thing, I got you. But if you are a Democrat, a man, you have to accept that a man is a woman. Think about that. If you are a Democratic male, you have to accept that a man is a woman and a child can choose their gender. You have to accept the LGBTQ agenda. Like, think about it, just for the men. If you are a Democratic male, you have to accept that. That is number one. That, listen, that LGBTQP, don't forget XYZ madness is at the top of their list. It's at the top. So if you're a Democrat and you're a man, you got to accept that. You got to bow down to the Baphomet. You got to bow down to Lucifer. When Obama said that the children should be able to go to the same bathroom, he should have lost every black vote. I myself voted for Obama a second time. I repent. I voted for Obama a second time. And I voted for Obama because I was being what? Bliggity, bliggity, black. Obama said, let the children go to the same bathrooms or I'm going to cut your funding. Think about that. Let the innocent children go to the same bathroom unsupervised or else. He should have lost every single black vote. But instead, he got more. Most black people are Democrat, which means that most black people accept the LGBTQP, don't forget X, Y, and Z agenda. Most black folks are most black folks are accepting of all this stuff. So when they come and they say, we're going to the Supreme Court to decide whether or not a child can choose to be with an adult, black folks are not going to be protesting. They're not. White folks will, the sellouts will, but black folks will not. There is no agenda that set out to destroy the world that black folks are against. None. So when I hear all these talks about how great black folks are, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I grew up in an environment where men would be having sex with prostitutes in the park, in front of the kids, in front of us. I grew up in an environment where the men would have sex with prostitutes in the park. We kids, we can see it. I grew up in an environment where the men were violent. Guns, selling drugs, gang banging, all that. Now, these kings were supposed to watch over the community. These kings were set in charge of the black community to protect the women and children. But you know what they did? They sold crack to the women and they took the children's innocence. That's what black men did. And if that wasn't bad enough, they turned around and made it a culture to be glorified. So the black man did not even atone for his sins, for selling dope to his own people, for destroying his community through drugs and violence. But then he turned around and glorified it to the world. And y'all want me to sit here on my platform and praise black people. You're crazy. You're nuts. Do you know how many generations were destroyed because black men were cowards? You think Emmett Till's uncle was bad, letting those white men come in the house and take Emmett Till, if that even happened, if it's even true. You think he was bad. The new generation of black men was worse. He put the drugs in the pregnant woman's hand and said, go smoke it. An epidemic of crack babies, men giving drugs to pregnant black women. And instead of making amends for it, you know what they did? They turned around and glorified it. And they told people when I was young, boys my age, that that was the way. And y'all want me to get on my platform and praise black people. You're out of your mind. You're nuts. I grew up in the carnage. I saw it. I saw it firsthand. You ever walk in somewhere and they smoking crack? You ever watch somebody put a needle in their arm and nod off? You ever have your family members steal from you? You ever see people die the most violent deaths? The black community was unsupervised. They let black folks have the black community, the black neighborhood. Black folks had it. All white folks did was keep the street lights on, fill the potholes, keep the gutters cleaned, but they let y'all run it, and y'all destroyed it. And I blame the men. But y'all want me to get on my platform and praise black people for what? Because when I turn around and look, all I see was death, destruction, and damnation. And everything that's celebrated is pushed by Hollywood, the media, entertainment. It ain't real. All the black heroes, the true ones, never got a stage, never got an audience, are forgotten in history. All the parasites are celebrated and praised to this day. George Floyd is called a hero and a martyr. Joe Biden said that George Floyd is more popular than MLK. Think about that. As if MLK wasn't bad enough, the new hero is a porn star, dope fiend, womanizer, drug addict, assaulter of black women, pregnant, like look at what the new black leader is. And y'all want me to celebrate it. I refuse to do it. I told y'all before, this is an anti-black platform. And if you want me to praise black people, tell black folks to rally together and go against Klaus Schwab. Until then, I'm on their head and their neck and their back. Their neck and their back. Let's continue.
And it's gotten so bad with the transgenders that if you gay, you've been grouped with the transgenders. And that's now part of your identity as a gay person. But you can call out white supremacy. You never even experienced white supremacy. Half of you guys don't even know what white supremacy or racism is. You have an idea of it from what was told from somebody else. And that's the reason why the majority of people hate CRT, critical race theory. Race being taught from someone else's opinion. Notwithstanding that everybody's perspective on life is different.
And I'm going to say this. CRT, the main component of it is storytelling. It's storytelling. Why would it be storytelling? Because they know they can actually prove it. They can't actually prove racism. They can't. They cannot prove systemic racism. Now, they can make and prove somebody being racist, but they can't prove that the whole system is racist. Because if that was the case, then y'all wouldn't have voted for Joe Biden in record numbers. So again, if I ask Black people on this live right now, the horror stories of growing up in a Black neighborhood, they're going to tell me. Now, of course, we're going to have some good things to say about the Black community, but by and large, what we were exposed to caused psychological trauma and damage. And it was caused by Black people. So imagine the psychological damage you have. The TV is telling you that Black people are wonderful, but your neighborhood is showing you they're evil and wicked. Imagine the psychosis that puts the average Black person in before they even grow up to be an adult. And most Black folks ain't even got no therapy from that. Most Black folks haven't even gotten therapy from seeing their parent on drugs. That's traumatizing. Seeing somebody shot, that's traumatizing. I remember one time my mom was going into the car, going to get some pizza at Luigi's Pizza. And it was a group of guys, and they saw this guy. I don't know who he was, but they was beating this guy so bad that the blood, I was in the car as a kid looking, the blood was splashing on the car. That's how bad they was beating this dude. All my mom did was just walk in to get some pizza. All that happened from her going to get the pizza coming outside. So what I'm saying is, the trauma that we experienced didn't come from white folks. Black folks did it. And now that we swim to the top of it and get our head above water, they're telling us that all that we swam from and got was done by white people. The enemy is clever. The enemy is clever.
But let's call out racism. Let's call out white supremacy. And let's say it's the Republicans, right? The conservatives. Meanwhile, Democrats is humping on your damn kids. Turning your little boys into little girls. Turning your little girls into little boys. That y'all not calling that out. Y'all don't even protect our kids. But you want to holler racism or white supremacy, and any Black person that's a Republican or conservative or got friends that are white, they associated with white supremacy. Meanwhile, your dumb ass is going to jobs, companies that are owned by white people, collecting a check from a white person. Your communities are ran by white people. The white man who hated you and is responsible for mass incarceration is the person that you want everybody to support as your president. That's why I think y'all pussies. Because you will ignore the very essence of our future that you can see. to call out something that you don't even have no experience in.
99.9% of black people have never, ever experienced racism. Ever. What black folks have experienced is someone telling them what racism is. But the vast majority of black people have not experienced racism at all. At all. Someone not liking you because you are black is not racism. That's called being prejudiced. Really, I call that's their preference. They don't have to like you. You don't have to be liked. But when you have a God complex, you're a narcissist, you want to force people to like you. That's narcissism. You want to force people to like you. The majority of black folks have not experienced racism. They haven't. They've seen movies. They've watched television shows. They've heard politicians speak. They've heard testimony and stories, most of them fake. But they haven't actually experienced any racism. But when this snake bite came and they said you couldn't go into this building unless you had this card, instead of y'all saying, this reminds me of Jim Crow. This reminds me of segregation. You know what y'all did instead? Y'all went and got the shot. And you know why you got the shot? Because you never actually experienced racism. You get where I'm going? The reason why black folks didn't buck up against this snake bite jab thing is because they never actually experienced racism. So when they actually saw it, they didn't know what to do. There's no way you could have experienced racism and then listen to a president telling you, if you don't do this, you can't have access to none of this. You mean to tell me y'all was fighting for civil rights, which is access to society? Y'all fought for, y'all marched, y'all got hit in the head with bricks and sticks. The dogs bit y'all. They was pouring milkshakes on your head. They was spitting on y'all, beating y'all up. Y'all went through all that to have access, equal access to society with white people. Then all these years later, the white president gets on TV and says, you can't have access to what you fought for unless you do what I say do. And black folks was clueless. You know why? Because black folks never experienced racism. What black folks experienced was called being spoiled. You want white people to stop what they're doing to pay attention to you. That's called narcissism. You want white people to stop what they're doing to focus on you. You want white people to send something to the hood. You want white people to do something for you. That's narcissism. It's borderline entitlement. It's borderline privilege. What group of people can demand something of anybody for something that happened 400 years ago? Or 250 plus years ago? Who has that luxury in the world? Well, I can demand something from you for something that happened centuries ago. Nobody has that. Nobody. But black folks want that. Somebody mentioned reparations to me today, and I thought about it and I said, what would black people do if they didn't have any more excuses? If this government ever gave reparations out, y'all won't have any more complaints. None. What would black people do if they couldn't complain? Right, Tajay. Blacks was going into white-owned businesses begging them to be there. Please, white man, accept me. Think about that. Think about you going to a business. I got my business. And listen, it's not like you coming to the business and even saying, can I get something to go? I heard the pies here was good. I ain't got to sit down. Let me get something to go. You ain't even doing that. You ain't even saying, let me meet with the owner and talk to him. You ain't even saying, let me go to church. Let's pray for all these white businesses. None of that. You said we gonna bombard, y'all gonna go in that restaurant 30 deep. 30 deep. Now y'all know if you walk into any establishment, no matter what color you are, and you 30 deep, everybody's gonna be put on edge. Everybody. We don't know what you're gonna do. If 30 transformers walk into the room, everybody gonna be like, what's going on? So these people was really just, black folks really just strong arming white folks. Just strong arming them. And then playing victim. Strong arming white folks and then playing victim. Let's continue.
The black liberal man is a sad man. He is a pussy.
I keep calling you Torzy. Tory. It's Torzy Ham. Torge Ham. My Jewish grandmother thinks Jewish people are being attacked daily. She also got all the boosters and had a brain bleed and then got the next booster. All that false knowledge and still fell for poison. Again, it's the same propaganda for Jewish people too, though. They said, like listen, they get the same propaganda. The Jewish folks get the same propaganda. Black folks get the same propaganda. LGBTQ, same propaganda. Trans, like they all, like everybody's getting the propaganda. But you know who ain't getting propaganda? You know who ain't getting propaganda? Everybody is getting propaganda except one group. White people. White people are just the brunt of the propaganda. It's like you line up you line up not 10 people and you give 9 of them a weapon and you leave one without a weapon. That one without the weapon eventually is going to be attacked by all of them. Because they're going to ask, why don't you have a weapon? What'd you do? Oh, we're better you because we have. I'm just telling y'all. So the propaganda ain't just to black folks, it's to Jewish people, LGBTQs, trans, homeless, everybody getting propaganda, except white people. White people are the brunt of the propaganda. How do I know this? There is nothing in media, sports, entertainment, anywhere celebrating white people. Nothing. There is nothing celebrating white people. There's a whole bunch of stuff celebrating somebody for being black, for being Jewish, for being Hispanic, for being trans, for being gay, for being homeless, for being an immigrant. It's stuff out there celebrating everybody else except white people. And it's by design. And it's by design. But let's continue. That was Joe Collins for Texas House D70. He's running. So if you're in Texas, show support to Joe. I met Joe. He's a good guy. All right, let me go to this other one. I found one today that I stumbled across that was pretty good. Foolish, but good. See how easily black people are tricked. It's not difficult.
Can you name a white coach off the top of your head that you think makes it about himself, sells sunglasses?
Well, can you name a white coach who they doubt like they doubted Dia? They don't do white coaches like that. When a white coach comes in, by default, they're like, well, yep, he's the man for the job. Everything was about doubting Dion. And he was like, hey, you know what? I'm going to do what I do. I'm going to come in. I'm going to win. So he was making it about himself.
You know what's funny about this opening statement? And this is how slow and simple-minded black people are. If a coach took over a team that was 1-11, everybody would doubt them. Like you're taking on a team that won one game. You're going to be doubted. They won one game last year. You're saying I can turn this team around in one season. People want to doubt you. That's what people do. Why is it that everybody that makes a bold statement welcomes the challenge? Tom Brady been getting doubted for the past. Tom Brady was doubted more than any other quarterback. We saw in real time Tom Brady being doubted a lot, especially when he got older. And now one time the people stick up for Tom Brady. Leave him alone. He's trying. LeBron James says, I'm the greatest of all time. And people say, no, you're not. And then people say, why are you bashing LeBron James? I told y'all the black man is weak. If the black man meets any resistance, he crumbles and he folds. They want Deion Sanders to succeed. He part of the agenda. He's the same guy that said get that snake bite. The same guy. He's the same guy that lost some toes, but it'll also be the same guy to say, I lost some toes from what happened, so I'm with y'all. Now get this new snake bite. But Tariq Nasheed, the guy that's speaking right now, he already said out of his own mouth that he's a victim and he's oppressed. This grown man, Tariq Nasheed, already said he's a victim and he's oppressed. Listen to this video. Thank you, Tajay. Tom Brady was the 199th pick in the 6th round in NFL draft. Nobody, exactly. Tom Brady was doubted from day one. And nobody even mentions it. And you have all these black quarterbacks that don't read a playbook. All these black quarterbacks that don't hone in on their skills. Lamar Jackson can't win in the playoffs. You know why? Because in the playoffs, they expose your weakness. We're not going to let you run and throw bombs. We're going to make you throw what you can't throw is intermediate routes. All your black quarterbacks, most of them, had the same Achilles heel. They never developed skill that didn't require athleticism. The 5-yard pass, the 10-yard pass, the 15-yard pass, the pass that's going through the hands of the safety, through the hands of like them kind of passes that you got to work on, repetition, constantly over and over and over doing it, not knowing if I can't throw, I'm going and run, going through your progressions, going through your check downs. I can run and throw the bomb. Most black quarterbacks suffer because of God-given ability. LeBron James the same way. LeBron James has no intermediate game. That means he has no game in between the three-point line and the rim. If you watch LeBron James, it's at the rim or it's a three-pointer because the intermediate game requires hours and hours and hours of skill development, patience, methodical and tedious. It's not fun doing this same move over and over and over and over again. This is why black quarterbacks suffer. Not because of racism, because of the playbook, because of the discipline. Jamarcus Russell was trying to get back into the league, and they sent him on some DVDs to watch. Remember Jamarcus Russell? They paid him all that money, all that talent, all that God-given ability, but couldn't stay in the league, couldn't stop eating. Zion Williamson can't stop eating. How you got $300 million, potentially you got $1 billion waiting for you, and you can't put down a beignet? Oh, you got $1 billion waiting for you, and you can't stop eating po' boys and jambalaya. It's because they went their whole life relying on their God-given ability. They sent Jamarcus Russell home with the DVD. And then when he came back, they asked him what was on the DVD. Jamarcus Russell gave him this whole elaborate thing. Oh, the DVD showed this, DVD showed that. It showed the quarterback doing this, receivers doing it. And guess what, y'all? The DVD was blank. The DVD was blank. They were going to let him in the NFL again if he had to just put the DVD in the DVD player and cut it on. People they don't fail the big tests. People fail the small tests. Jamarcus Russell, not only did he not look at, he could have said, my bad, y'all. I didn't watch it. He went beyond that. He made something up. Name me a white quarterback doing that. Name me a white quarterback with a second chance to get in the league that's not putting that DVD in that DVD player. You can't name none. Right. Jamarcus Russell signed a 6-year, $61 million contract, a rookie deal, and they saying black quarterbacks overlooked. Right. Let's continue.
As it relates to people doubting him. So yeah, he's going to speak up for himself. You understand?
Why would he be selling his sunglasses? Like, have you ever seen a coach before who sells a merchandise brand completely separate from anything related to the team, makes his own pair of sunglasses and starts selling it to people?
What's wrong with that? Hell, the college sports for years, they made a grip off those black players, and those black players didn't get a dime. So yes, I want Deion to market everything he can and make every dime he can.
I mean, it's not just that; it's just the whole thing. It's all about. It really is. There's no other program.
I swear, y'all hate to see a competent black person who ain't bowing down, who's winning. Why do y'all hate that so much?
Because it makes us insecure that we can't do it the same way he can.
Thank you.
Now, do y'all believe this ain't staged? Do you all believe this is not staged? What white man is going to call into this show with Tariq Nasheed and say, we can't do it like y'all? Let's play it again. Let's play it again.
I swear, y'all hate to see a competent black person who ain't bowing down, who's winning. Why do y'all hate that so much?
Because it makes us insecure that we can't do it the same way he can.
Thank you. Thank you. But that's a you problem. At least say, I'm glad you're being honest, but that's a you problem.
I know, but when we see a black man shining, it just like tears us down because that's like all we have left is the coach.
I know that.
Time out. Who thinks that this is real? Like, it sounds script. Listen, the problem with black people is that black folks are carnal in their thinking because black culture doesn't deal with things like wisdom and discernment and understanding, nothing of the spiritual realm. So black folks are totally dumb. Like, black folks think that a white guy gonna call Tariq Nasheed and tell him that we upset, we can't do it like y'all. Like, listen to it.
Down, who's winning. Why do y'all hate that so much?
Because it makes us insecure that we can't do it the same way he can.
Thank you. Thank you. But that's a you problem. At least say, I'm glad you're being honest, but that's a you problem.
I know, but when we see a black man shining, it just like tears us down because that's like all we have left is the coach.
I know that.
Now, who in the world thinks that this ain't staged? Who in the world thinks that this is not staged? When we see a black man shining, it just tears us down because this is all we have left. What? If this ain't a script, again, it's a bad Tyler Perry. Most black films are horrible. 99% of black films are horrible. It's poor writing, poor directing, poor plots. This is most black, prime example, Juicy Smollett, horrible script. 20 degrees below zero, two racist white men are freezing looking for the gay guy from the show Empire. Just think about the plot. It's 20 degrees below zero. Two white guys are freezing looking for the gay guy that plays on the show Empire. And they come to him with bleach and a noose. Bad scripts. It's always a bad script. It's a dead giveaway. Why would a white guy call into Tariq Nasheed show and tell him, we just upset because we can't do it like y'all? Y'all taking everything we got. We hate to see black folks shining. That is just poor writing, poor acting, and it's a poor script. And black folks fall for it every time because black people are carnal. They don't have any kind of spiritual discernment. Now, this guy is about to start talking on this video. He can't even see his fake. And this guy is about to talk. He thinks he's so smart and he's so intelligent, but he might be one of the slowest in the conscious community. He might be one of the slowest. Let's continue.
Yizzo, what's popping? Well, at least he finally got to the truth. At least he finally stopped beating around the bush trying to come up with all of these different angles and innuendos and just finally got to the truth. Now, I'm going to go somewhere that most people probably didn't even go on this dialogue. He's not the only one, y'all. He just told y'all out his own mouth. And he was speaking for himself, but he really speaks for a large majority.
Now, what's funny is most white people don't concern themselves with black people. The only ones that do are white liberals. White conservatives don't move into the hood to gentrify. They don't. White liberals move into the hood. White conservatives don't concern themselves with, they live in their life. This guy just said that this is a majority of white people thinking this, and they ain't thinking about black folks. Black people, dear black people, you all pose absolutely zero threats to black people. Pose a greater threat to themselves than anything else on the planet. Black folks, y'all don't own anything. Y'all have the worst diets. You have the most homicides, the most abortions, the least educated. Like, black people pose zero threats. So this notion that white people are fearful that black folk are taking over is absolutely insane. Deion Sanders is playing for Colorado State, owned by the state of Colorado. It's not a black folks don't own Colorado State. I'm sorry, University of Colorado. I'm sorry. My bad. University of Colorado. He is playing for a white school in a predominantly white state. So whatever Deion is doing, white folks are allowing it. His boss is white. Most of the staff is white. School president probably white. Everybody white. So what is Deion doing? He's doing what white folks are allowing him to do. But this guy, Swizzo, can't even see that Deion working for the system. Like Tariq Nasheed. Let's continue.
Of his people as it relates to us. This is why it's so important that we stop handling each other the way that we do. Because we are exponentially feared for our greatness.
What are black people doing that is great, without the help of white people? Tell me. I'm going to wait. What are black people doing because Deion Sanders got hired by somebody white? He got hired by white folks. So tell me, what are black people doing that is so great that is independent of white people? Somebody tell me. What are black people doing? What are black people doing that is greatness that is independent of white people? Nobody? Nobody? Y'all can't name me one thing that black folks are doing that's called great that white folks or Jewish folks ain't controlling. If it comes to sports, whites and Jews. If it comes to music, whites and Jews. Entertainments, whites and Jews. Corporate America, whites and Jews. So tell me, where are black people being great without the help of white and Jewish people? Show me. I didn't think so. I didn't think so. I didn't think so at all. I didn't think so.
And everybody sees it but us. Far too often, rather. Far too often, too many people see it and we don't. We are absolutely the shit, y'all. We are. And predominantly everything that we do, we excel.
Now, this guy thinks he's intelligent, but he's actually dumb. Blanche, why would you call a black man dumb? I'll tell you. Black children are behind every other race when it comes to reading, writing, and math. You see, what you all will find is that when the playing field is level outside of a sport or dancing or singing or rapping, when you got to actually apply aptitude, black folks are last. Your children can't read or write or do math, sir. You all don't get married, sir. So that means you don't excel in academics. You don't excel in marriage. You don't excel in community building. You don't excel in economics. What are black people doing that is so great? Please tell me. You have the most STDs, the most homicides, the most abortions. What are black people doing that is so great? This person, Swizzo's popping, is an agent of destruction. I'm listing you all factual information. He's lying to you. Let's continue.
Especially when we band together. These folks know it. They fear it. And he had no choice but to adhere to it and finally say it. It makes us insecure. We already got all the athletes for the most part. So in his mind, damn, can we at least keep coaching? No, we coming for that too.
We coming for that, but y'all don't own any teams. You see how silly this is? This is a grown man talking with the mind of a child. We coming for that as if Deion Sanders didn't get hired by some white folks. And when I get done with Swizzo Ain't Popping, I'm going to go and see if Deion Sanders wore a dress on stage. I'm going to go and see that too. to put the icing on the cake of him being an agent of destruction as well. This man just said we coming for that too. Y'all don't own no teams, no leagues. Who do you think the major investors are with Ice Cube in the big 3-on-3 league? Think it's just Ice Cube? Tell me, what are black people doing independent of Jewish people and white people? Tell me. You can't. Let's continue.
We coming for the coaching too. Anytime y'all start talking crazy about the wrong one of us, you're going to make somebody show and prove. You're going to go around and find out that we really what we say we are. But we got to start knowing it, y'all. We got to start showing it. Everybody understands and fears our greatness.
I'm going to ask y'all again because he keeps saying this. And it's getting irritating. What are black people doing great or excelling at that is not controlled by white or Jewish people? Tell me. If Deion Sanders is excelling, he excelled in the NFL, owned by white people. He excelled at Jackson State, owned by the federal government. He excelled at University of Colorado, owned by some white people. So Deion Sanders' whole career of greatness was under the umbrella of white people and Jewish people. This is a fact. I'm on a platform right now that is owned by non-black people. It's a fact. I don't own YouTube. I don't own Metaverse, Facebook, Instagram. I don't own Rumble. Non-black people own that. White and Jewish. So again, my question to Swizzo Ain't Poppin', what are black people doing that is so great? If black people are last in education, first in homicide, first in abortion, first in STDs, first in incarceration, first in poor health, first in disease, all the negative stuff black people excel at. So tell me where black people are great. I'm asking. Let's continue.
In a lot of sectors except us. This should be some form of motivation, a wake up call, a reminder, a little nudge. Like, damn, you know what? I ain't gonna treat homie like that today. I'm gonna start speaking when I see another black man. I ain't gonna ice grill him and don't know him from nowhere just to make him feel uncomfortable. I ain't gonna hate on nobody today. I'm gonna figure out what I can do to be a contributor, not an extractor.
He used some big words then. So my question is, do you know how low you all have to be for somebody to be talking to you all? Now think about it. The guy that's giving you all the advice believes that the stage skit is real. And he's listening to a guy that's a fraud. So you got the fraud Tariq Nasheed, then you got the fake skit, then you got Swizzo Ain't Poppin' looking at the fraud Tariq Nasheed and the fake skit, thinking it's real, and trying to use it as a life lesson to help black people. And y'all think black folks ain't lost. And y'all think black folks ain't lost. This guy is telling you all to be decent people, decent human beings. Why does a guy who don't know anything on social media running his mouth, why does he have to tell you all how to be decent? Why does the guy who don't know nothing, why is he the voice to tell y'all to do what's right? Let's continue. Let's continue. You right, Tajay. You got to be so dumbed down to fall for this. But again, black people are not spiritual. And I'm going to go to the scriptures, but they're not spiritual. Because to be spiritual, you have to have the mind of who? Christ. So if you don't have a mind of Christ, you're not going to be spiritual. You're not going to be led by the Spirit. Black folks are led by what they can see, what they can taste, what they can touch. That's why the black folks die from all the bad stuff, because it's all carnal stuff. Black people have a carnal existence. It's all fleshly. What it looks like, what it sounds like, what it tastes like, what it feels like. Let's continue.
I'm going to be the change that I say I want to see. Stuff like this motivates me because it's a reminder of our greatness. And we ain't the only ones, or should I say, they're not the only ones who know it. We know it too. We just got to start applying it, y'all. These folks know it. And
these white folks ain't thinking about y'all. This guy is doing all of this off of a fake skit from Tariq Nasheed. Tariq Nasheed is a petty nickel and dime hustler, man. He an expo pimp. Tariq Nasheed is a scam artist. And this guy's falling for it, but let him tell it. He got all the wisdom and all the game. He's carnal minded. He's carnal minded. I can't even give him the spiritual man. I got to give him the carnal man. He's carnal minded. Thank you, What's Your Destiny? So great. We had to be reminded to not snare at strangers unprovoked. Sneer at strangers unprovoked. Thank you. Black folks are so great that he got to remind them to be decent people. Notice he didn't say study and become proficient at math and reading and writing. Notice he didn't say that. Notice he ain't mentioned anything that actually requires some work. Notice he only mentioned superficial, silly stuff. Don't hate on them for no reason. Don't ice grill them. Support each other. We got to come together. All a bunch of empty rhetoric, just foolishness. But the children can't read, though. He won't mention that. The STD rate is skyrocketing in the black community, but he won't mention that. He won't mention the homicides, abortions. He won't mention that. But just come together, y'all. Oh, you see him. Swizzo, what's popping? I think his name.
they continue to roll the dice on our dissension. They continue to roll the dice, keep their fingers crossed on our divide. Every time they see us going at each other's neck and mistreating one another, yes, we thought they was about to get together, and now they're not. Whew, that was close.
Here goes a fact for you all to know. When white people see y'all acting a fool, which is quite often, they're thinking they're next. White folks don't celebrate y'all being decadent and wicked. They don't. Because white people know when y'all get tired of each other, we next. That's why they don't fool with y'all. I don't blame them. Y'all want white folks to care about y'all so much. Y'all want white folks to care about y'all so much. And they ain't thinking about y'all. They ain't thinking about y'all. This is what's funny though. He ain't around no white people. He's not around white people. This man did a whole live video off of a fake Tariq Nasheed skit. With a white guy called in talking about, we hate to see y'all shining. Even threw a little twang on it. We hate to see y'all shining. And you falling for it. Let's continue.
That's how they thinking. We got them on their heels, y'all, backing them against the wall. Don't let up. Don't.
We got them on their heels, backing them against the wall. Who is they? Who is they? What white? Where my white people in the any white folks in the chat? Any white people on YouTube or Instagram, please let me know if y'all backed up in the corner because of black folks. Please let me know. Can anybody white, if you on here, anybody white or Caucasian on here, can you let me know if y'all are backed into a corner because of black people? Got y'all on y'all heels. Please let me know. If anybody white, let me know, please. I got one no. I got one no. Please let me know. Please let me know. Who got y'all backed up? Do black folks have y'all on y'all heels? Let me know. I'm getting a lot of laughs and chuckles from the white people. No, and we're not. Listen, the white folks are speaking. The white people, Swizzo ain't nothing popping. The white people are speaking and they're saying it's not true. They ain't thinking about y'all. Black people are narcissists because black culture is idol worship, and idol worship is worship of self. Black people worship themselves. Ain't nobody thinking about black folks. But Swizzo was pop. I got a question for you. When that snake bite came out, what'd you do then? Swizzo ain't nothing popping. When the snake bite came out, what did you do then? Did you go against Bill Gates? Did you go against Klaus Schwab? Did you go against Zuckerberg for all the censorship? What'd you do? Or did you get that shot? How much y'all want to bet that Swizzo ain't popping got that shot? How much y'all want to bet? How much y'all want to bet that Swizzo ain't popping? This guy right here got that shot. How much you want to bet? Because he live in New York, and I know and y'all know he was not finna be not get into all them spots because he didn't have no snake bite. You know he got a snake bite. I know he got it. Swizzo ain't nothing popping. Everybody is saying you got that shot. Everybody's saying it. Everybody on here believe you got that shot. Everybody. Play it again.
Together, and now they're not. Whew, that was close. That's how they thinking. We got them on their heels, y'all, backing them against the wall. Don't let up. Don't let up. Recognize our greatness and start to apply it, please. Because we much better together. Believe that.
Anytime you see black folks together, any kind of large setting, tell me when it's ever good. The HBCUs, they ain't graduating, high STD rates, any cookout function and shootouts. Tell me when black folks coming together is ever good. Black folks ride together. The last time black folks came together, the last time the black folks rallied together, they took a snake bite and voted for Joe Biden. Am I lying? The last time the black folks came together, they took the snake bite and voted for Joe Biden. Am I lying? Am I lying? So black folks coming together ain't good. But that was Swizzo ain't popping. And if you follow him, you're going to end up in a camp somewhere. Just telling y'all. I'm just telling y'all. Okay, let me we may have time for one more And now I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna stop here. And I will be back on Wednesday. I'm gonna just stop here. I'll be back on Wednesday to finish this up. The carnal, the natural, and the spiritual man. And again, as a man, what's imperative is your mindset. If you believe that you're a victim, then you're never going to succeed. And if a man has an excuse in one area, he'll have an excuse in all of them. So again, when listening to these men, ladies, all you have to do is just listen to where he passes off responsibility. Just listen to where he passes off accountability. That's it. When you see the man passing off responsibility and accountability, you know what type of man you have. Because if he's with you, he's going to do the same thing. So again, right. But anyway, I love you all. I thank y'all so much. And I will be back on Wednesday. Hopefully by 6 o'clock, we'll be going live at 6 on Wednesday, 6 o'clock. But I thank y'all for tuning in. I love y'all so much. Thank you, Goddess Navi. I had some super stickers. Hold on. Thank you, Ash G, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you, Jahan, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ian Mayor, for the super sticker. Our God-given free will allows not to control what happens to us, but to control how we react to what happens to us 100%. And that is what he just says, a lesson for all men. It's not about what happens to you. It is about how you respond to it. That determines what type of man that you are. What happens to you. Bad stuff happens to everybody. The media tells you that bad stuff only happens to Black people. That's obviously foolishness. Bad things happen to everybody. But when it comes to a man, it is how he responds to those bad things. Are you going to be a coward and blame somebody else, or are you going to use the measure of faith that God gave you and man up? It's just simple. They say you're going to barbecue or you're going to mildew. Which one you going to do? So thank you, Ian Mayor, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Rena Bina, thank you so much. The way you expose them, much love and respect, Blanche. Thank you. Thank you, Rena Bina, for the super sticker. Thank you so much. Listen, I love you all. I want y'all to have a blessed evening. And I will see you all on Wednesday. Thank y'all so much.